All right. I think we're up and going here, Beav.
Welcome, Facebook land. I'm trying to see here. What? Welcome, all 16 people and growing to the BrigadeCast episode 3.
Episode 3 tonight.
Episode 3 with special guest Tommy the Beard Lynch, and then our senior guest Devin.
We were talking about this earlier. I didn't have a name for him.
I don't have a name for
determined as to what his name is going to be. So
Devin TBD Hughes. So
I guess what we'll start up with here, so we can get things rolling, is we'll just give a quick 2020 season update. We have a little more information than the last than the last episode. Currently, things are kind of moving along. We're not real sure what the governor's going to say on July. Is it 1st, Beavis?
July 1, yeah, July 1 is what we're supposed to know.
But we're in like full bore. We're ready to go. We did change the schedule, so I'm going to throw that up here real quick.
Okay, you got a copy of that there. There we are. Oh, nope.
All right, is it here? Let's try this one more time. There, can we still hear? All right, let's get Beavis in there, and all right, there, something's up there. So here's the
there we go.
Here's the schedule, and you can see what we moved things around a little bit. Not that Beavis and I think that the band might be in not its most peak physical condition when we hit July 6th.
I would say that's definitely. Unless they're doing their aerobics at home, I think it's going to be a little sluggish start this season.
Yeah, if the rest of the band's like my two kids, then I mean I don't see them very often. And if I turn the light on without like prompting them, it's like the
Vampires, the Hobbit,
or not the Hobbit. It's like Smeagol. Yeah. So they're like freaking out in there because they haven't seen the light of day. So I would say that after 8 to 10 weeks, we're going to probably need to get a little more conditioned, and I'm not going to expect people to be in back-to-back band camp weeks. And I can hear all the alumni now. Well, those kids these days. Yeah, I understand. Kids these days.
What? Here's the thing about the alumni. They don't know what we're working with. So their opinions don't really matter.
Well, in any case, we're going to go with our regular full-week band camp on the 6th as it was scheduled. And then we're going to put a buffer week in there so that people can get oxygen. They can go and, get checked out at the trainer's office after they've, standing at attention might have been a little too much for them for, 5 minutes or whatever. And then what we've got is like the 2 practices. This week might change a little bit. We might have some sectionals, and then we'll go another week of band camp. Now, this is all subject to change. This might change tomorrow.
It might change drastically. It may change a little. The key word with this season is flexibility.
Yeah,
everybody needs to be flexible.
And we don't know what may happen in the fall, but the plan of the show going forward is a go. And students, you should expect to get your normal band camp letter here in the next, I'd say, couple of weeks. We should have more updated information, and we are already planning on what we're going to do going on into the fall with uniforms and disinfecting things and marching at a 6-step interval the entire show, and how we're going to have face masks. We should build the face masks into the show.
I said that. Remember, I text you and I said, I have the great idea. We'll do a ninja show. We'll cut little slits in to put the horns through. Perfect.
If you cut a slit in it, it defeats the purpose.
Well, you got to play somehow. Unless we're going to get what are those Timmy Tom things? What was that Kitten had?
I don't know what those are called.
You were going around serenading everybody.
I remember, but
do a whole show of those.
I don't think so. So that's the season update. So we're gonna move things over now to the next topic, and that is our special guest tonight. And we are humbled and excited to have this gentleman here. So we'll get him in. Let's see here. Did it work? Here he comes. So we've got Tommy
Beard, Lynch.
Yep. I told him there'd be beard jokes tonight. Not beard jokes, but beard jokes tonight. Tommy is the only sixth grade member to actually join band in sixth grade with a full beard.
Yeah.
That's not true. I actually found a picture of him.
I still have the letter that ISMA sent us that they were actually checking my eligibility because I looked older than I was.
Well, there is some truth to that. Tommy, I did find a picture just the other day of Tommy clean shaven. I think he was like 8 or 9.
Probably more like kindergarten.
long ago.
But Tommy had this beard going on in high school. Like it was a a beautiful beard in high school. So Tommy
and Tommy was ahead of the beard trend. I mean, you know what that was how long ago, Tommy? Was that 10 years ago, 15, somewhere like that?
I graduated high school 10 years ago this summer.
So yeah, one might say Tommy started the beard trend.
Wow.
I had a beard before beards were cool.
That's right.
And I made them so cool that if you check out Luke, he's actually been growing one since I left. So, who had theirs first?
I definitely went on the beard trend. So anyhow, Tommy is joining us here tonight. There's no rhyme or reason really as to how we're doing these special guests. It's more like, hey, we throw out, will you be a special guest? And Tommy was the only guy that responded back and said yes. But no, in reality, Tommy was one of the best members of the Black Hawk Brigade, not just in my time, but ever. And Dad would agree to that. And not only that, but like he was really great in marching band, but like in pep band, we're still trying to capture the Tommy essence to pep band on cheering and organization. Matter of fact, he was so good. I think Indiana State put him in charge of it for a while.
They did. Yeah.
I was the first person to be recruited by a college for pep band for pep clubs.
Did you get a scholarship?
No scholarship. There were some other perks and benefits, but definitely no scholarship money involved with it.
At least free admission into the games, right? You did get that.
For sure. I got that early access pass, so I was one of the first ones.
Nice. And you started that. What was the pep session up there called?
We called it the Forest. So up at Indiana State, we're the sycamores. So the concept was a group of trees that come together. We make the forest. So
I like it.
Yeah.
So like we've said, we've introduced Tommy here. Tommy, why don't you give us a rundown? Anybody who's been paying attention to the Facebook page has already seen Tommy do his video. He was one of the few people that actually did his assignment, which again, that's one of the reasons he's one of the best members ever. He actually still 10 years later does his assignments on time and gets things done and gets A+. So Tommy, why don't you just remind us the years that you were in the brigade and what you played and all that kind of stuff.
For sure. So my first year with the brigade was 2004. And I'm glad that we were kind of talking beforehand because I really couldn't remember what my first year was. But came on 2004. Came on as the lone trombonist of the Black Hawk Brigade. Started 2004 and I marched for 6 years up until my senior year in 2009, playing trombone all 6 years.
Now, technically, Andy was a trombone too.
I guess he was. We weren't together. His was pre-04, I suppose, but that is true.
Yeah, that's it. We moved him off of there, and then he had to graduate, even though he's still around. So. All right, so Tommy was in it for some pretty good years then. Got to see the first state trip back and then some really prime years there, state runner-ups in 7, top 5 and 8, and then the big year in 9 being the BOA finals year, 3rd in the nation in Class A. Tell us a little bit about just going from 2004 where we're just trying to make it out of district, and now your senior year basically we're in the hunt for a state championship and even at a national level.
For sure, yeah. Thinking back to those first couple of years, the brigade being really close to getting over that hump and getting back to state finals, and I can remember those first couple of years of just really kind of learning what marching band was about. I think that a lot of the group, there was some really good leadership those years, but I think we were just real close to kind of clicking, thinking back to 04 and 05. And I know you guys talked a lot about the 06 year and played the Warren Central show last time, which will always be a special memory. So 06, it just felt like for whatever reason, everything from top to bottom just finally clicked, which really made that just so much fun. Beyond just, obviously make it to state, but, every show, every practice, leadership from the top really showed us, what it means to take it to that next level. And I felt like folks at kind of the freshman, sophomore level, we were ready to respond to that. So, '06, we got over the hump, we made it to RCA. And then from there, once we kind of got a taste of what that was about, we, wasn't going to let that slip again. So 4 years for me, freshman through senior, 4 top 5 finishes. Obviously really, blessed to have not just a state trip year after year, but to be, in the hunt most of those seasons. And then, I think we'll talk a little more, but that senior year, that the lasting impression show, boy, we were right there. We were really close. And like I put in my video on Facebook, it's taken some time, to kind of come to peace with how the ISMA season ended. But I really found that the more I kind of reflected on what we achieved as a group that year, you hear a lot of kind of team dynamics and sports teams and clubs of leaving it all on the field, leaving no doubt, giving it everything you got. And I will always use that state show in '09 as, we left it all on the field. We did everything we could. It clicked, it hit, it sounded great. And, one judge may not have agreed with us allegedly, but, we still did everything we could. And that's what was important.
Yeah, that's definitely what's important. Beavis, you had something?
Yeah, well, and you say come to terms with it. I don't think we've still come to terms with a few seasons. So it takes a little time. Now, one thing I will say, Tommy, is as the guest, you're an interesting perspective, because we've had guests on there who was in the beginning with B and Jermaine, but you kind of got both ends of it. You got the heartache, but then you've also got the success, because since your '06 year, your freshman year, these kids have always ever made state. They don't know it. So that perspective of the pieces coming together, and it's one thing at the time Coolhand and I always talked about was to get there, you have to be there. It's kind of like this double-edged sword of like, to do it, you have to have done it, but and that perspective from you is an interesting one. So.
For sure. Yeah, definitely getting to see both sides. And again, we were kind of reminiscing before we went live about 2005. I mean, I think that was a group that deserved to go to state. I think we were a really good show that year, and just had a couple things kind of catch us there at the end. Some circumstances you just can't plan for. But thinking back to being a young member and obviously coming in and kind of knowing what you're getting into, but at the same time, marching band as a middle schooler was, pretty overwhelming, of course. And so really kind of coming in and not make it that first year. Okay, we'll try again next year. But I think to my first year, you mentioned Andy, my first year was his senior year. So I did get to march with him once. And, folks like him and Brandon Hagan came on, I marched with him for a year. To see some of those guys that didn't get to experience the state experience or the state championship, I can remember thinking back to that, as I progressed through the later years of, I'm getting to experience this, but man, Andrew, Andy should be out here with me, and some of the other folks that you kind of learn from and try to follow in their footsteps.
Well, Andy's definitely made up for it now.
And really, so is B. So
is B, but Andy's definitely had those experiences in a different perspective. Before we watch the video here, Tommy, give us a favorite memory. I know you had a couple there you put on Facebook, but if you had a different one or you want to rehash one again, give us a favorite memory. For sure. Yeah. So one of the memories I didn't put in my video, but I know you and I had text, we're going to play the '09 show. One of the memories that has stuck with me the last 10 years is actually the conclusion of this state video we're about to watch. And I think for me, BOA was on the radar, obviously state championship was kind of that, this is what the year is about. So coming into that show, we had the performance we had. The visual that I'll never forget, though, was we hit that big hit at the end. Everybody just, lays it all out. We finish. I can remember kind of getting a little emotional knowing, what had just happened. We, kind of call off the field. We grab the props. We're sprinting off the field. For me, what I'll never forget is we get to the end zone at Lucas Oil, and all of our prop helpers, a lot of the dads and, Jerry Albright and a lot of the folks helping us out were there ready to get the props from us so we could get out of the way. And it was the first and probably one of the few times my father, being one of the prop helpers,
the entire prop team just moved to tears. You know, and I think, you know, for someone like my father, I've seen him cry, I think like twice in my life, 3 times in my life. And for my marching band show to be one of those, that everyone in the arena just knew what had happened. And so that was really special. Of, you know, the results came later, and, you know, was disappointed at the time. But again, the longer I reflected on and really thought about that moment, really that season, you know, I think about the impact that we really had on, you know, just everybody involved in the year. So that image of coming off, and I think of my father, Jay Hill was over there. I think Curly was over there somewhere, but just all these people that have been along the ride, just, you know, everybody just knew that, you know, that was it. That's what we've been working towards, and we did it.
Now, that's a good memory. Now, was Zeke Harger in that year when he'd already graduated? He was in that year?
No. He would have graduated the year before.
Yeah,
okay,
he was a cap. So
who?
Yeah.
But that was the year, right? We went back to Indiana State in 09.
No, that was 07. What you're thinking?
7.
But, before we get to 7, I want to touch on something you said, Tommy. And I always find it interesting when we have the 3 episodes we've had, the people on here, is you talk about, I mean, we always preach the results. The results aren't the big thing, you know, improve every week, improve every day, improve every contest. And the things that everybody remembers, it's not the winning, it's not the losing, but it's what you said with the, you know, about come off and there's the dads and crying. And marching band shows, I'm guilty. They'll make you cry, you know, you get the right pay. And, you know, I love how that's the memories that everybody has. It's not the winning. You know, the winning's nice. It's a byproduct, but it's all that's great.
I've seen many a band dad cry coming out of the state warm up. That's usually when they get it. I remember Calvin Seitz a couple times.
Oh my gosh, I do remember him. Yeah.
Deal. You know, just like as a teacher, that's like really hits you. You know, like you're making a connection between not only those parents and kids, but like a bunch of other kids. And I'm gonna stop now, or I'll start crying, and then Beautiful never let me host one of these again. So
they'll make fun of you like I always do. So
that's right. So I think what we'll do anyhow, before we go to the video, the thing that I remember is one of those years. You say it's 7?
It was 07. It was 3 generations.
But it was at Terre Haute, wasn't it?
It was at Terre Haute for regionals.
And those props were coming off, and we were close on time or something, and we thought we were, right?
No, what you told everybody is get off the field as fast as humanly possible. And so,
yes,
Tommy knows what I'm talking about.
And Zeke Harger,
grabs
that prop.
Who was a little kid? There was a little kid.
I think it was the Galloway. I think maybe it was Derek. Was Derek Galloway in it at that point?
I don't know. There was some kid that was like maybe 5 foot tall, and like all you see is Zeke grab one end of it, and you see feet flapping like it's a feather, and like that prop is gone. I think we timed it. It was like 10 seconds for him for 50 yards.
He's gone. He took it real seriously. He was off the field. Like that kid was literally hanging on for his life. Zeke, I mean, I don't know if he's still a Marine or is he a former Marine?
I think at some point we're going to have to pull that up and show everybody.
We'll have to find that video.
Yeah, we'll have to take that one out of the archive.
All right. I think what we're going to do is we're going to put on the 2009 video at this point. Let's see if I can get this up. So we're going to solo it. We still got audio. Beavis and Tommy, you still good?
I'm here.
All right. We're going to go ahead and play this show and kind of talk through it. I'm going to fast forward it up here just a little bit. So, turn this down just a little. So this is one of the shows that actually got designed by one of the commercials that I saw. It was either Thanksgiving or Christmas, and they were talking about lasting impressions, and so that's where this kind of took off. Beavis helped create these props that had they were blank right here at the beginning, but they would scroll the different narration across them.
Yeah, it put what the words, it put a sentence across there and they scrolled.
Yeah. Started with this is one of the first years we actually started with a down beginning, like a ballad at the beginning.
Soft, slow movement. I tell you what, though, the show really, from the very beginning, it really does grab.
These individuals leave lasting impressions.
And this was the first year for L. Harvey Gold doing the narration. This was the first year you could use spoken word.
That's been a while since we've had one.
You could hear them there.
Yeah,
That was that movement was called "The Echo Never Fades," right?
Armed with their example,
David Gillingham, I believe.
we find our
So yeah, you'll be able to watch what you were talking about with the props. You'll see the words start scrolling across here.
of our own. We learn to laugh often and much, and win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children.
Now, what was the poem that you used for this, Coolhand?
We just made it up.
We just made it up.
Yeah, I don't. It wasn't. Jeez, man, listen to Lil Brad. It's crazy. This was an original tune. And then that's one of the first times we did choreography right there in the woodwinds. It was like one set, and instead of marching, we asked them to do some choreography, and it blew their minds for a couple of weeks. But
Well, and I think we put that choreography in every show since then, too.
yeah, a little demi plie and a tendu. I think this is the tune too in the ballad that Tommy. Is this the one that Tommy's got the little solo line, or is that
Yeah, I had a small line coming up here in a moment.
we like made it up on the spot? I was like, Tommy, I want you to play this.
Now this set, I love this set here. It was a bugger to get clean, but man, I like the motion, how everything's rotating counterclockwise, and then it condenses into this block at the end.
That was the first time we did this little peg here too. Like
Yeah.
that was the first time we had done like 16th notes. And then they had a little decelerando.
Yeah, I can remember with that rotating set though, the hardest thing was to keep them from not rounding the corners.
Yeah.
To earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends. To appreciate beauty and find the best in others.
These angles were probably the death of me at that time. Although they rotated nicely at this
They
contest.
did, yeah.
From a low brass perspective, coming up here is probably one of my favorite little pieces from a music perspective coming up right here. I think it's here. Here.
I like the concert snare in this too.
Yeah. Those flags were actually each individually painted.
I remember that because that was before digital printing come around.
Yeah. This is Tommy's little solo here. I
Right
think.
here. Yep.
Yeah, it was just something I think Dad and I heard in practice one day. We're like, Tommy, play these notes. And he
I
did.
was like writing them down on my hand.
More rotations.
Yeah, those rotations. Pretty decent, really.
I mean, it all clicked on this day and really at BOA as well. But man, I can remember. I mean, we pulled our hair out doing those. You know, we would break them down in subsets. You know, when are you straight? When are you this? Oh my!
Pulled somebody off over there. I don't remember who that was. Now, this part right, this hit is like intense.
Child,
Yes.
a perfect poem, or a rescue soul.
Yes, please.
This the big hit that's coming up here in a second. I can remember during warm-ups, I went to every section. Like every section had a little pep talk, and I went to every one of them and said, "Catch your breath, do what you got to do on this big hit." I said, "Just give it all you got right here."
To have succeeded.
I tell you, if you ever want to, if you ever have something really awesome, pull up it's on YouTube. Pull up the Paoli performance.
Remember the company front that breaks out and dips in.
Pull up the Paoli performance of this, and we had trained the crowd this year to go crazy on that hit, and there is standing ovation screaming on that hit for it's like 45 seconds. Tag, which is this the first time we did the tag?
No, we did it at regional also.
Did we?
Or semi-state. Those rotations were pretty nice.
Oh, look, sound problem.
I was probably in the stands screaming at whoever the sound person was then too. It was probably their birthday.
Probably. It's a little tag going back to the Echo Never Fades. Some strong woodwinds that year.
Oh.
And mellows and woodwinds there, saxes, I believe. And then this guard member just keeps running, right?
Yeah, and then as he runs, you can see him break off, and then she just keeps going. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
And from a drill perspective, I know you did this on purpose, but I'm in the back standing like right in the middle of the Colts horseshoe at midfield. And it's like senior show, like that was my final bow. So I appreciate you putting me there.
Well,
Yeah,
I remember the conversation he and I had. We said, how can we get Tommy closest to the Colts helmet at the end of the year? I mean,
I was standing right in the middle of it.
Get the beard close.
The beard close.
Well, I guess we should. That was awesome. We appreciate Tommy being here. Tommy, do you have anything else to add before we start? We got to move it over to Devin here pretty soon. Our senior spotlight.
For sure. No, I appreciate you guys having me. Been following the BrigadeCast. Like I said, it was fun watching the 06 Warren show. So I was hoping when you reached out, that's the show that I don't know what the views are on YouTube, but like 80% of them are me. I watch it about once a month. So if that's like the highly viewed show, you're welcome. But no, thanks for having me. This has been a blast. Love what you guys are doing, and just glad I could join you guys.
Well, we appreciate it, and Tommy really was one of the best leaders we've ever had, and still is. He's still leading kids at ISU, and he'll continue to do that moving forward. And
just remember us when you're like a big shot AD or whatever. Remember the guys. Remember us because tickets our way and everything. That'd be great.
I said he needs to remember us when we sign our $100 million podcast deal, like Joe Rogan did this week.
That's right. Yeah.
So, in any case, Tommy, we're going to go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, talking back, I tell a lot of folks that, I've really kind of, made my living, at ISU and a lot of work that I've done. Thinking back to my high school years and involved in all that I was, everybody I talked to, if I could go back and just relive one thing, I'd go back and do 6 years of marching band all over again. From the back lots with the light pole in the middle to just the funny stories to all the trips we made, with all that I've been blessed to be able to do, the Brigade's always held a special place in my heart. So appreciate, getting to come and talk about that for a minute.
Well, the next time I'm in Terre Haute, I'll get you some square donuts like you did for us a couple of years ago.
There you go. Tommy, thank you, buddy. Thank you for the 6 years, and I'm glad that everything's still going well for you.
Appreciate you guys. Right. Take care.
Man. Thank you. So what we got next? That was great having Tommy in.
Well, you work on getting Devin. I'll kind of explain this then to the folks at home.
Yeah.
So what we are going to start doing on the BrigadeCast here, we are going to start with any senior who is wanting to do this. Senior spotlight. We've only got one for tonight, but we may have 2 or 3 different BrigadeCasts. But since they didn't really get the end of their season, their band banquet, this is going to be kind of a time to bring them on. What was their favorite memory, future plans? In the case of Devin, harassing just a little bit. So
A little bit?
or a lot. So any senior who has not got a hold of Mr. Ellsworth and you want to get on the BrigadeCast for the senior spotlight, get a hold of him and we'll get it set up.
All right. He's checking in here. We'll see if we can get him rolling.
This could take a minute.
It says that he's in, but then it's like he's not. I can't see him. So it was working earlier, so we'll see if we can get him in. But yeah, as Beav said, seniors, if you are interested, basically I sent an email out at the end of the year. But as I was talking earlier to Tommy and Devin, or maybe it was, I can't remember when I said it, but it was probably as good as you guys did your e-learning as the responses.
That was me. You and I talking earlier.
It's probably as good as that. So I didn't get a lot of responses. I got like 2 or 3. Let's see here. So if you want to do it, you need to contact me, and you're not on the remind list anymore. So you'll need to either email me if you can do that, or contact me through Facebook now that we're Facebook friends. And we can get that. Let's see. He says that he's in. Let's give him a shot here to see if we can see him. No. I don't see him. Do you see him?
I do see him. Can you hear us, Devin?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, there's no.
Can you not hear him, Coolhand?
I can't see him or hear him.
I've got both. I've got visual and I've got audio with him.
Okay, let's go. We're gonna kick him out. Get out of here.
Devin, we're gonna kick you out. We'll be right back.
Going back in. So a little technical difficulty there. We tested this out before we went live, and it all worked great. And then Beav decided to join, and then it all went to pot.
The problem is we can't have all 4 of us in here at the same time.
We can't. No, and it's limited to that. So we can't have all 4. So we'll get Devin in here. We're gonna try to get him in again. It is Devin Hughes is ready to join, and it just will not allow Devin in.
Bring him back in. I can translate kind of like what you did for Jermaine if I can still hear him and see him. So
I'm not sure that'll work. I tell you what, let's do this. We will. We're going to cut this stream here, and we'll back out and get Devin working, and then we'll come back in live with him and do the senior spotlight in just a second.
So everybody, hang tight. We'll be right back live.